Alright, so we want to merge these two cells in our document. So we just have our document object here that we're creating with the docx document class, and then we have our first and only table from the document.tables. So now we want a row A and a row B, and then we will do, that'll be table dot rows, and then we want the second row, we want A, so 0 we're going to skip because that's the header, we don't need to mess with that. We're going to grab this one and that one, so that'll be 1 and 2. So we'll just copy this, and then we'll say equals, paste it, and do that. Go here. And then we can't merge the rows, we have to merge the individual cells within the row. So we say row A dot cells, and we'll do the first cell, and we'll say dot merge, spelled correctly, yeah, okay, row B dot cells, and then we'll also just say the first one. And if we run that, I'll go ahead and close this, and we'll open it back up. We'll open up the edited, and you can see that they have merged right there. And just to avoid confusion with the next part, I am using two separate files. I am reading from the file tables.docx, which is right here, and then I am saving to a different tables edited. So this is my template, which never gets overwritten, and then this is the file that's being overwritten in a bunch of different ways. So if that clears anything up, I know it can be a little confusing. So now that we're here, we can experiment with this just a little bit. So we have these two rows and we're merging them, but they're directly on top of each other. So if we were to merge this row and this row, we can see what that would look like. So what we'll do is we'll still merge the first row, but we'll just get the first row and we're going to merge it with the last row. So that should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll put 4 here for our row B, and then we'll get the first cell of row B and merge it with the first cell of row A. So we'll run that, exit out, and then we'll reopen, and we can see it merged all of them. So whatever you put in as the last value, it's going to merge from there to the start value of the merge. So in this case, it went from A to D. And just to elaborate a little more on how it will merge, so let's go ahead and exit out of that. Our original template, I'm going to merge from here to B1. So all these. So let's see, we'll have 0, 1, 2. All right, so that's the second row, and then 0, 1. So we'll go ahead and put 1 in there. And if we run that, we can then pull up our edited, and you can see that, yeah, it merged all of those. So it will merge diagonally, and then we can go further. If I put 3, that should be 0, 1, 2, 3. It should merge all of these. Let's give that a go. And then we'll, yeah, so that would be what that produced. All right. Okay, so now that we've merged tables, merged cells, let's try removing a row, deleting a row. So we're not going to need this, and we're not going to need a second row. We're just going to focus on one row right now. And then we don't have a method to call in Docx, so we have to do the same type of workaround as we did inserting an element, a row in. And let me close this, and I'll open this one. This is we're going to be removing this row right here from our template. So we will first get our table element equals table dot underscore TBL. That gets our underlying XML element for our table. And then we need to do the same thing for our row. So we'll say row element equals row A dot underscore TR for a table row. And then we will do table element dot remove, and then we'll do row elements. All right, and we'll run that. Then we'll close out of this and reload it. And there we go. We have removed the A row. All right, so now we've removed rows from the table, and the next thing I want to do is change the background of an individual cell, and then obviously we could loop through and change all the cells we wanted. But the way we do that, we don't need the row element or the table element, so we can just get rid of all this, and then we'll just we'll have a variable called cell XML L for element. Well, I'll go ahead and element and make it a little clearer, and then that will be our first table. We're going to get the second row, and then we're going to get the first cell in that row, and then we want the underlying cell object. So I don't think that's correct. Let me double check. TC, table cell. All right, so now we have the XML element for this cell right here, and we have to get the properties object of that. So we will say table cell properties. This is just a variable, and we're going to get the cell XML element, and then this is a kind of a long function name, but it is get underscore or add TC capital P lowercase r. So yeah, that is a function of the XML element. So we call that, and that returns our properties for this cell element. So we then need to create a shading object. So I'll just call this shade obj, and that equals O XML element, and we'll have to import that in a second, and then we'll pass that an argument of W colon SHD, and we have to import this using this line right here. Sorry, I always forget that one, and I misspelled it. All right, so yeah, we import it using docx.oxml import oxml element, and so we've created a shading object here, and then we need to set its value. So we'll say shade object dot set, and then qn let's see, w fill, and then here we will enter in a hex value. So I'll just do ff00 ff. So that should be, these are your reds, the green, sorry. The first two are your red values, the second two are your green values, and the last two are your blue values. So that should be a kind of like a purple or magenta. And then let's see, I think I have to import something here. Let me double check. Yes, I do. So I need to import qn. Sorry, that's supposed to be qn. So now we have our shade object and we've set what the shade object should be. The next thing we need to do is to append it to our table properties. So I'll copy this. And luckily we can just hit append here, and then we'll append our shade object. So I'll go ahead and run that. Finished, and we'll look at the edited table, and there we go. We've changed that cell background.